In the elections of 1888, Benjamin Harrison beat Grover Cleveland and became the 23rd President of the United States. His grandfather was William Henry Harrison, a former president. Before that, an ancestor, a Virginia governor by the name of also Benjamin Harrison V, signed the Declaration of Independence. Quite a family. In 1833, he was born in North Bend, Ohio. He went to college, met Caroline Scott. They married, he became a lawyer, and they had two children, Russell and Mary. When the Civil War broke out, he enlisted. He helped recruit men, fought many fierce battles, and after one battle, there were many wounded, but there was no doctor nearby, so Harrison rolled up his sleeves and performed surgery. Can you believe that? He became senator, and soon after that, ran for president, beating Grover Cleveland. In the inauguration, it rained a lot. If you look at this drawing of the inauguration, you can see outgoing President Grover Cleveland holding an umbrella over Harrison's head. What a guy. For the first time, there was electricity in the White House, but Harrison and his wife were afraid to touch the switches. They wouldn't turn the lights on or off, and often they would sleep with the lights on. They were scared to be electrocuted. Many changes came about. The Washington Monument was erected. A new drink came out, Coca-Cola. National Geographic came out with the first magazine. Thomas Edison opened the first movie studio. And Singer came out with the first electrical sewing machine. Harrison, a war veteran, signed the Dependent and Disability Pension Act to provide aid to the veterans. Harrison was very slow in appointing jobs, much to the dismay of his colleagues. Now, there were many huge companies that were called trusts. They were monopolies, and Harrison signed the Sherman Antitrust Act to help restrict the power of these monopolies. We still use the Sherman Antitrust today. It was a major accomplishment. Along with gold, silver was now being used as a currency. You see, silver costs less than gold, easier to produce, and easier for people to hand out their money. But international businesses began to insist on getting paid in actual gold, and this began depleting the gold reserve. In Pine Ridge, South Dakota, a disaster, a tragedy happened. A Sioux Indian named Wacova believed that Jesus Christ was returning as a Native American and would erase all traces of the white man. He and others performed a dance, a silent shuffle called the Ghost Dance. Nervous troops were sent to the Sioux reservation, but confusion and tension resulted in a scuffle that culminated in the death of beloved Sitting Bull, as well as 300 men, women, and children. This became known as the Massacre of Wounded Knee. Harrison ordered an investigation of this, but nothing much came of it. Harrison built warships, further strengthening the Navy. Then, when two American soldiers were attacked and killed in a bar in Chile, he demanded and got an apology from the Chilean government and $75,000 for the victims' families. The United States had not had any new states in a long time. Former President Cleveland opposed admitting Western territories because they would most certainly lean towards sympathizing with the Republicans, giving the Republicans more power in Congress. Harrison pushed forward, and 6 new states were admitted in his term in office. North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming. There were now 44 states. He opened 11 million acres of Sioux lands in South Dakota to the settlers. He created 2 national parks, Yosemite and Sequoia. Time flies. 1892, time for re-election. Harrison ran against his former rival, Grover Cleveland. So it was Harrison against Cleveland, round 2. Unfortunately, Harrison's wife, Caroline, got very sick, tuberculosis. Harrison refused to campaign while his wife was ill. Grover Cleveland, when he heard about this, said that in all fairness, he would not campaign either. Sadly, Caroline died 2 weeks before the election, in which her husband Benjamin Harrison lost. So Grover Cleveland would return to the White House with his lovely wife Frances. Broken-hearted, Harrison returned to Indianapolis. 4 years later, he would remarry. a widow named Mary Scott Lord. She was 25 years younger than he, and she was his first wife's niece. His children were disappointed and did not attend the wedding. Harrison then had a daughter who was younger than his grandchildren. In 1901, he died of pneumonia. His new bride would live another 50 years. Well, that's it. That's it for Cool Talk. Give me your comments, or better yet, subscribe below.